Hello! Welcome to Storytime at the Atlee branch of the Pamunkey Regional Library. I'm Miss Christy, and we're going to do a story time about owls and other nocturnal animals. But first, I think you may know the drill. We're going to do our hello song. Let's get ready, so hop up, and here we go. Hello, hello, can you say hello, hello? Hello, hello, can you say hello, hello? Can you reach up high? Can you touch your toes? Can you turn around? Can you say hello? Hello, hello, can you clap your hands? Hello, hello, can you stamp your feet? Can you reach up high? Can you touch your toes? Can you turn around? Can you say hello? Hello, everyone. So glad you're joining us today. Hi. Since this is a bedtime story time, I thought we would read this poem again that we read last week, and it tells you everything you need to do to get ready to bed for bed until it's time to read. And this poem is by Ken Nesbitt, and it is entitled, Phew. So here we go. Finished dinner, cleared my plate, took the trash out, shut the gate. Had a bath and brushed my teeth, those on top and underneath. Telephoned my gramps and grandmas, changed into my soft pajamas. Fluffed the pillows and got my Ted, said my prayers and climbed in bed. All that's done, at last I'm freed. Finally, it's time to read. Phew. That was a lot of work to get ready for bed. I hope you're ready for bed. We've got a lot of books about nocturnal animals. Now, nocturnal animals are animals that stay up at night. And this is Elmore. And he's a porcupine. And he stays up at night. And this book is very good. It is by Holly Hobby. And there he is in the tree. And we'd like to thank the publishers, Random House of New York, for letting us read this book today. Now let's see what Elmer is up to. Elmore lived by himself in an ancient maple tree. He loved it there. Every few days he would climb down the huge tree trunk as darkness fell to graze on his favorite leaves and twigs. Then he would go back to his snug hollow in the ancient tree. Elmore was solitary. He lived alone, and you would think he'd be used to that by now. But here's the thing. He often felt lonely. Solitude could be boring. He'd always had trouble making friends. What was the problem? After all, the L in Elmore's name, his mother once explained, stood for love. He put up a sign. It said, "Friends wanted." He was discouraged by what he overheard. He's too prickly. It's hard to be around him. Poor Elmore. You see his prickly quills? Elmore shook his back and his quills rattled. It was true. If you got too close, you could get needled, nettled, and prickled. Elmore didn't mean it. It just happened. See all his quills? He spent a rainy day holed up in the ancient tree, thinking about what to do. What could be done about his troublesome quills? They were there to protect him like a coat of armor. But protect him from what? Elmore's life was peaceful. He was lucky. The next day his old uncle happened to come shuffling along past Elmore's tree. "Good evening, Elmore." A moment later he said, "You don't seem your usual cheerful self. Is something wrong?" "I wish I didn't have all these quills," Elmore explained. "I'm too hard to be around. I have no friends." "I'm your friend," his uncle smiled. "That's different," Elmore replied. "But you are a porcupine," his uncle stated emphatically. "You wouldn't be a porcupine without quills." "I know," said Elmore. "I've got hundreds and thousands of them." "You're a handsome porcupine," his uncle added. "Your quills are beautiful. You should treasure them." Look at him. He's thinking of his quills being in a treasure chest. His uncle's kind words made Elmore feel better. Then, as he looked at the many quills scattered about his cozy dwelling, he had an idea. Elmore tied Elmer tied up each small cluster of quills with a bit of string. He posted another sign: "Elmore's Quill Pens, free." For 2 days they went like hotcakes. Everyone could enjoy a quill pen, especially if it was made from 100% real porcupine quills, and free too. They could make ink from berries, Elmore suggested, which was extra fun. "Everyone loves getting a note from a friend," he said as he handed out the bundles. By the time the last quill pens were gone, Elmore was tuckered out, but most of all, he was happy. In the days that followed, he received all kinds of notes. It was exciting. "We love our quill pens. This is a picture of us. Let's be pen pals." One bright morning after the quill event, there was a big sign tacked to the trunk of Elmore's tree. Let's see what the sign says. It says, "You are a beautiful porcupine. Our woods are lucky to have you. Your friends." The end. Now that was a good book. Now I have a little song about nocturnal animals, and when you hear me make a noise like a particular animal, listen real close and see if you can guess what animal it is, and when I say, then you say it, okay? Let's get started. On a moonlit night when the stars are out, there are nocturnal animals all about. Ooh, ooh, what do I see? A wise old owl looking at me. Meow, meow. What do I see? A big black cat looking at me. Eek, eek. What do I see? A little bat looking at me. Ribbit, ribbit. What do I see? A big green frog looking at me. Squeak, 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 squeak. What do I see? A tiny gray mouse looking at me. Yay! How'd you do? Did you guess all the animal sounds? That's a fun song. All those animals come out at night. Now we have some other animals that come out at night, and this one is a little badger, and his name is Boris. And the name of his book is Boris and the Worisome Wakies. Have you ever had that? It's bedtime and you just can't get to sleep? Well, remember now, Boris sleeps at night. He sleeps during the day and wakes up at night. That's what Nocturnal is. Now, this book is by Helen Lester and illustrated by Lynn Munsinger. And we'd like to thank Houghton Mifflin Harcourt for letting us use their book today. So let's see about Boris. Alrighty, Boris, the sun's coming up. You know what that means for badgers. Bedtime. But Boris the badger cub did not like to go to bed. Do I have to? Boris said, just like every morning. Yes, Mama said. I don't want to, Boris said, just like every morning. Too bad, Papa said. So Boris put on his PJs and grumped into bed. His parents gave him a good morning kiss, whispered, "Have a nice day," and tiptoed away. Before long, the worrisome wakies began. My ear itches. I need more water. My covers came off. Mama and Papa whispered, Go to sleep, Boris. And later, I'm hungry. I think my PJs are on backwards. I can't find my ice skates. Mama and Papa called, Go to sleep, Boris. And even later, if I went to the moon, would you miss me? My cuddle bunny is hogging the bed. I'm scared of the light. Papa and Mama badgered, Go to sleep, Boris. Go to sleep, Boris. Go to sleep, Boris. But Boris had the worrisome wakies that day and every day. By nightfall, when it was time to get up for school, he was a very tired badger. He can't wake up. Every evening, Mrs. Happy Snout greeted her students at the door. Good night, Mabel. Good night, Hubert. Buenas noches, Carlos. Good night, Boris. The other cubs had enjoyed a good day's sleep. As Boris shuffled sleepily into the classroom, they chanted, Everyone join the chorus. Here comes snoring Boris. What does he do? Bore us. But Boris just plopped down on his desk and snored. Can you see him? He's asleep. Boris was a boring cub mate all through gym. He's sleeping hanging up there. Art, look at him. Lunch, he fell asleep in his plate of food. Library, there he is with a book on his head, right there. And even music. And in Miss Happy Snout's classroom, Boris was usually a cubby in a cubby. See him? He's laying in the cubby, sleeping. Boris's cubmates tried to make him laugh. Hey, Boris, want to hear a bad badger joke? They tried bothering him. Coochie coochie coo, poke poke poke. And Mrs. Happy Snout unhappily tried reasoning with him. Boris, dear, if you slept at home during the day, I'm sure school would be much more enjoyable for you. But Boris's worrisome wakies continued at home, as did his snoozing at school. After a while, his cubmates stopped noticing sleeping Boris. Night after night, it was like he wasn't even there. Cubs bumped into him, walked over him, used him as a wastebasket. Sometimes even Miss Happy Snout forgot him. Good night, Mabel. Good night, Hubert. Buenas noches, Carlos. Good night. Who's it? She forgot Boris's name. Early one morning, when it was time to go home from school, Boris's cubmates were especially loud. Was that a great badger ball game or what? And wow, Miss Happy Snout's exploding science experiment was awesome. Ooh, Mabel's birthday cupcakes were so delicious. The cubby in a cubby sat up and stretched. What did I miss? Boris asked. Lots, replied his cub mates. He said, like what? Like field day. We all got medals. And the class picture. Now, do you see Boris in that picture? You see him just in the very edge of the picture. The school play, and Boris was a rock. Can you see him? And your chance to be line leader of the week. Nobody could follow you. Oh, said Boris. Tucked in bed that morning after Mama and Papa had wished him a nice day, Boris began the worrisome wakies as usual. My leg hurts. I need a turkey sandwich. And not quite as usual. I want to do a science experiment. I want somebody to bring me a cupcake. I really need a medal. May I be the line leader? Whoa, wait a minute. Science experiment, cupcake, field day, medal, line leader, all the wonderful things he had missed and more. But why? It had to be the Wakies, the worrisome Wakies. Aha, yelled Boris. Suddenly he knew what to do. Boris scratched his itchies, quenched his thirsties, fed his hungries, and adjusted his PJs. He put away his ice skates and tucked in his cuddle bunny. Then he pulled down his window shade so he wouldn't see the scary light. And with that, Boris banished all the worrisome wakies for good. He was ready for a peaceful, snoreful sleep that lasted all day long. The next evening, Boris bounced out of bed and got dressed for school. As he skipped out the door, his parents could only scratch their heads in wonder. His surprising silence had kept them awake all day. Mrs. Happy Snout was at the door as usual. "Good night, Mabel. Good night, Hubert. Buenas noches, Carlos. Good night, Who was this bright-eyed cub? Are you a new student?" Miss Happy Snout asked. "You might say that." Boris turned to his classmates and winked. "Do you want a hint?" "Yes, please," everyone begged. So Boris faked a humongous yawn. "It's Boris!" his cubmates cried. They could hardly believe it. This cub looked more awake than anyone they'd ever met. Boris could hardly believe it either, but he didn't want to miss out on a minute. Now his cubmates sang a new tune. Everyone joined the chorus. Give 3 cheers for Boris. Hooray, hooray, hooray. From that night on, Boris became the liveliest cub in school, and every morning he went home for a good long sleep. The end. Now that was a good thing that Boris learned how to sleep in the daytime so he could concentrate in school. Now we're going to look at a craft project, and this is the finished, it's an owl, and I'm going to show you how to cut it so that you'll have little ears, little fluffy feathers up top, and these little feet. So what you want to do is pretty easy. You're going to cut down into the plate just a little bit, like that, and that's where his ears are going to be. And then you're just going to cut 3 little rows of the paper plate, and that gives you a foot. See there? And then you do that again for his other foot, and then you cut 3 more again, and you're going to cut right on here to give him some loose feathers, which you can kind of do this with. And then you're going to glue all those on there so that it looks like this. These are glued on. There's his feet. And then you can go back and add with a marker or a crayon. You can add your lines for the wings. And you can put these, and you can use all different shades of brown. It makes it look much more interesting if you have light and then dark, and you can do it on these edges and it looks like real feathers. And don't forget to give him a nice, pretty big eyes and a nice beak. I made mine yellow. And then when you are finished and you've drawn this part, that's when you come back and cut the ears even with your little feather, your wings. It doesn't have to be perfect, but they'll be even with his wings. And you can color it any way you want. You can even use a different color besides brown. Now we have something else. This is a project, not really a craft, because you will need, what does this look like? This is a deer, but it's made out of an egg carton. You will need an adult's help with this. They will have to cut this for you, and then you take an old cereal box and we'll cut the ears and the antlers for the deer. We'll just let you look at these for a little while so that mom and dad can get an idea if they can help you with this. So we have a fox. You can use pom-pom, anything. And if you have googly eyes, that's great. And this, do you know who this is? This is Mr. Raccoon. So let's put those back down. And we'll put a close-up of those at the end so you can get an idea of how to make them if you want to. Now we have a special book. This book is called Moonlight Animals. And it's not really a story, it's more of a book that you look for animals. So I'm going to come a little bit closer just so you can see this flashlight beam. Can you see that? Who's that? Our main friend tonight, the owl and his babies. Can you see it? Now let's see what else is on the next page. Here's the flashlight. There's a fox. You see the fox and his mom? Oh, fell down. There they are. Let's see who's on here. Who's this? Remember from the song? Can you see him? What does he say? Ribbit, ribbit. He's the frog. So many animals out at night. And remember these from the song. Eek, eek. See all the bats flying around? And one last page. A little deer. Can you see him? I like deer. See his face? So that is a fun book. There are a lot of different animals in there for you to look through if you ever come across that book. Now, we're going to do a little rhyme, something about spiders that you might not know. Spiders are nocturnal as well. So, if we're doing a rhyme, do you think it's going to be the eensy weensy spider? Let's give it a try. Remember eensy weensy, not itsy bitsy. The eensy weensy spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain. And the eensy weensy spider went up the spout again. Now let's try it. Itsy bitsy. It's hard to, this is a good keep you on your toes. The itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain. And the itsy bitsy spider went up the spout again. Yay! Now, this is our last book, and it's very beautiful. It's called While the World is Sleeping. In this book, a little owl is the main character. Wait till you see what happens. I'm so excited. This book is by Pamela Duncan Edwards, and it's illustrated by Daniel Kirk. And we would like to thank Orchard Books for letting us use this book tonight. You see the little mouse? While the world is sleeping. Come, little sleepyhead, come with me. I've left my hole high in the tree. Oh, what wondrous things we'll see while the world is sleeping. You know who sang that? This big owl. Who do you think's going to go with him? Climb aboard and hold on tight as I spread my wings in flight. We'll journey through the night while the world is sleeping. Look at that big owl peeking in. Over rooftops we will sail, above the hills across the vale, up toward the moon so pale, while the world is sleeping. In the meadow far below, see Father Stag and Mother Doe. Tiny fawns spring to and fro while the world is sleeping. Can you see them? Silver fish are swimming past in the river running fast. Will they reach the sea at last while the world is sleeping? A bright-eyed fox is on the prowl. He hopes to take a juicy fowl until he hears the guard dog howl while the world is sleeping. See baby rabbits as they play round and round the bales of hay. They'll have fun till the light of day while the world is sleeping. A beaver couple, fur agleam, work together as a team as they start their dam upstream while the world is sleeping. In the woods a porcupine rattles quills to send a sign. Don't come near, this food is mine, while the world is sleeping. A wise mouse mother squeaks alarm and tries to keep her babies calm. No slithering snake must do them harm while the world is sleeping. See the snake? Ooh. A sleek raccoon with bandit eyes takes his nightly exercise. In garbage cans he'll find his prize while the world is sleeping. It looks really cute. A lean, long-tailed, slinking rat keeps an eye out for the cat. A bat glides like an acrobat while the world is sleeping. But now it's time to rest your head, safely tucked up in your bed, as over the earth the shadows spread while the world is sleeping. The end. Now we're just going to sing one little song, and I know you know it. It's one that is perfect for nocturnal animals and bedtime. Here we go. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Good night and sleep well. We will show you a little picture of this so you can try these crafts at home. Y'all sleep well. Bye-bye.